Hurricane Melissa, Category 5 Superstorm, Jamaica devastated. Part 1. There are storms that bend trees, and then there are storms that rewrite the map. On October 28, 2025, Hurricane Melissa didn't just strike Jamaica, it tried to erase it. Meteorologists called it the strongest storm ever to hit the island. A monstrous Category 5 with winds topping 180 miles per hour. The eye of the storm churned over the small western town of New Hope, but the despair it unleashed touched every single parish. The first headlines told a grim story of catastrophe, widespread flooding, collapsed bridges and roads. Early reports estimated over 500,000 people were without power, that nearly 1.6 million residents were directly in the storm's path. Thousands were left without nothing. But beyond the shocking statistics and the satellite images of destruction, another story is unfolding in the heart of Jamaica.
More attention. So hold straight, be positive, believe in our God, and everything will be alright. One love.
Dear friends, Hurricane Melissa has torn through Jamaica with a fury unlike anything ever in living memory. Whole communities lie in ruins. Roads and bridges are gone, homes are flattened, schools and hospitals are crippled. From Negril to Morant Bay, families are sleeping in shelters without light, clean water, or security. Early estimates place the damage in the billions of dollars. Yet behind every collapsed wall is a human story. A mother searching for her child, a farmer watching his crops disappear, a nation aching but unbroken. In this dark hour, the People's National Party UK calls upon the strength, unity and compassion of our diaspora family and friends around the world. Jamaica has stood tall for us. Now, it is our turn to stand tall for her. So we have launched the PNP UK £50,000 Hurricane Melissa Disaster Relief Fund, a lifeline to help restore dignity, rebuild homes, and renew hope for those whose lives have been shattered. So every contribution, whether £5 or £5,000, will go directly towards emergency relief, rebuilding critical infrastructure, and supporting long-term recovery. We will work with trusted partners on the ground to ensure transparency and impact. The needs are urgent: food, clean water, medical supplies, and temporary housing. But beyond these essentials, Jamaica needs reassurance that her sons and daughters abroad have not turned away. Yeah. Let us transform our grief into action. Let us answer tragedy with solidarity. History has shown that when Jamaicans unite, we are unstoppable. From the Windrush pioneers to today's generation of builders, educators, entrepreneurs, our people have always risen from hardship stronger than ever. Now, through this fund, we can help entire communities rise again. So we urge every member of the PNP UK, every friend of Jamaica, and every organisation that shares our vision of social justice to give generously. And share this appeal widely across your networks, churches, businesses, and social media platforms. Together we can meet and surpass our £50,000 target. Together we can rebuild homes, restore livelihoods, and remind our brothers and sisters back home that they are not alone. Hurricane Melissa tried to break Jamaica, but it has only revealed the strength of her spirit and ours. Let that spirit guide us now. Let compassion lead us, and let unity rebuild us. Yours sincerely, on behalf of the PNP UK.
Well said. Thank you so much. That is very heartening to hear from yourselves. And I know, having worked with you last year, that your connection within the communities across Britain and Europe is extensive. You will easily hit that 50,000 marker. Well done, PNP UK. Well done. Well done.
Good morning. How are you doing?
I'm very well. Oh my God, you
I need to adjust my volume and tone there because you've got a very deep, illustrious voice. Oh my gosh. Oh well. We can be so proud of our sons, huh? We can be so proud of our sons. Good morning. Can I ask you first, before I begin, can I ask you just to introduce yourself? Just say your name, the organization you represent, of course, and you might just want to affirm that you are a young man of Jamaican heritage and where your family's from in Jamaica. First of all, just introduce yourself. Go ahead.
Sure thing. So my name is Malik Mikel. I'm here as a representative for the PNP UK. A little bit about me. So I was born in Jamaica, actually. I was born in Kingston, but my family are scattered in Kingston, Manchester, Clarendon, quite all around. I just want to say it's a real honour to speak here this morning, not just as a representative for the PNP UK, but as a son of Jamaica, a country that's shaped every part of who I am. My grandparents, my parents, generations before them built their lives on the island. And even though I lived here in the UK, my heart has never left home. It's not just where, I'm sure all of us come from, it's who we are. And it's the music in us, the pride in our voices and the resilience in our spirit. So over the past couple of days, like many of you, I've watched what Hurricane Melissa has done and seen the devastation across communities. Yet we've also seen courage, and that's something we should really, take pride in. We've seen unity, and we've seen that there is an unstoppable resolve to rebuild Jamaica. Ultimately, when our people hurt, we hurt wherever we are. But when we rise all together. And that's why we're here at the end of the day. So it's not just to express sympathy, and the statement that I read isn't to do that, just to do that, but it's to stand in solidarity and to act. And so today, we're going to ask everybody from the bottom of our hearts, give generously. That's the message. Give generously, give earnestly, and let's try and create some tangible change. We might...
Before you continue, you're absolutely right. And just before you continue, I just want to make a further announcement. That many of you would have received a message from the Motivator Show requesting if you would send in to us your pictures and videos of the damage caused by Super Hurricane Melissa. Okay. I want to first of all thank those of you who responded. And secondly, I note that I spent significant time watching the videos, studying the photos. Now, we didn't get to that section in Lee Jasper's interview at this point, but he made a profound observation. Okay. And his observation was as follows. That often, particularly people of African heritage, when faced with this level of catastrophe, this tragedy, where you can see your homes, your community destroyed, you can see your entire livelihood just wash away. Okay. We tend to internalize it and be strong. But actually, what I found, there is great tragedy and has a profound psychological impact on us, the individuals and the wider communities. And it is for that reason, in recognizing the trauma that I was seeing before me, that I've not put those videos, those photos on today's podcast in respect for those who are directly affected by the hurricane, and those, of course, whose loved ones have demise as a direct result of the hurricane. Out of respect for them, I have not shown those many hundreds of photos and indeed videos received. Okay. There were, and I now need to acknowledge that many of them were just horrific. Yeah, horrific. There are some places there in Jamaica that have been wiped out. And some of you may have seen some of the videos, but I'm not going to show them here. But here on the Motivator Show, we're concerned with building. We're concerned with unity. Yep, it's strength. We're concerned with thinking forward how we can prevent and create greater resilience amongst the people. Why I've invited the representatives of PNP UK to speak to us today, to outline what PNP UK intends to do in organising people. And we hope we hear from the representatives a full word from the chairman, who couldn't be with us this morning, just so that we've got a sense that we are not defeated. We are not defeated, yeah? We read through these experiences of tragedy, yeah? We'll gain strength. We are resolute. We will not be defeated. Okay. I just need to say that, my comment, Malak. I just need to say that, just so it's clear why the videos and photos not being shown this morning. And to listen to you, one of our sons, you warm our hearts. You warm our hearts. I interrupted, but continue. You're about to say.
No worries at all. Thank you. And I think that's exactly, hit the nail on the head. And it leads sort of perfectly into what I was going to say in that, we may be thousands of miles away, but our duty doesn't waver, right? Our love for Jamaica does not fade with distance. And it's the time more than ever to show how steadfast we are in that conviction, that dignity, that help to do what's just and to build back a better Jamaica.
Tell me, Comrade Malak, you went out a statement on behalf of PNP UK. You are, of course, one of the younger members. Okay. Do you have an opinion on this issue of climate change and the response of places such as Britain, Europe, and the Americas to the carrion call to reduce their emissions? Do you have an opinion on this? Because you're the generation that will succeed mine. What's your opinion? What is your opinion?
Sure. So my opinion is it's quite simple, right? Some equity, and you've got fairness and you've got equity. I think what's happening now is quite unfair, where a lot of the major powers in the world have built their economies on practices which were destructive, right?
Yes.
Perhaps at the time it wasn't evident as much as it is now, but definitely now we have a lot more information and research that has been done into these areas, and we know, a lot of these fossil fuels, a lot of this unsustainable energy comes at a cost. Now, this cost isn't being paid by the people that it needs to be paid by. It's being paid by nations like ours, and when that happens, that's not fair. It's not equal, especially when countries like Jamaica are trying to build their economy, trying to compete on the world stage. Notwithstanding the history, the colonial legacy that has set back a lot of these nations, right? And so the equitable thing to do is to ensure that during times like this, right, where there has been natural disasters or disasters that have been exacerbated by such behaviors, that there is some form of redress and there is some form of equity in the form of capital, in the form of rebuilding the structures, right? We can go. I can go on and talk about the fact, talk about reparations and perhaps what form that could take. But the theme that comes to my mind is equity. Right? Do what is fair, but what is equitable. And at a time like this, I think, number one, there needs to be more research done. I think also there needs to be, I think a proper rumination on what exactly Britain, what exactly, the West is doing to help nations like ours and become a blueprint. If you purport to care about the world and purport to care about equality and justice, well, what better time to show that than now, right? Yes. A nation is hurting. A nation is not broken, but needs tangible help. And I think that will be a blueprint for true equality going forward. Yes.
Thank you so much. And just to make it clear that the British government announced an initial aid for Jamaica of 2.5 million. Okay. But I understand, since reassessing the situation, a further 5 million has been earmarked for the Caribbean, and of course, mostly that will go to Jamaica. It's what I understand. Yeah. And that's what I've read this morning. And that's 7.5 million. Of course, as the interview with Lee Jasper has alluded to, the costs of clear up and reconstruction will run into the billions. Okay. Yes. I know that the British government means well, I know they mean well. That 2.5 million, now 7.5 million, is a contribution. Okay, and for the reasons and the evidence you put forward, that indeed Britain is the initiator of the Industrial Revolution. Britain has emitted, as I say in this interview, not hundreds of tons, not even thousands of tons, not even millions of tons, but billions of tons of carbon dioxide and atmospheric warming gases over a period of 200 years. Yeah, there is indeed equity to be considered here, and you're right. It's unfair. It is unfair. It's unfair. It's the Motivator here. Hope you enjoyed that fantastic podcast. Don't forget to subscribe, or at the very least, give us a like. And don't forget the next video on screen. Click through and enjoy.